and welcome back to my... Not even 5 seconds in and I just spilled something. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am a blank canvas. Today I am going to be showing you guys how to sculpt, contour, highlight, and bake your face. I have had so many questions, people asking me, how do you contour? What does contouring do? Why do you highlight? What does highlighting do? What is the freaking point? And what does it mean to bake your face? So I am here today to answer all of those questions plus some, because I like to talk. Obviously the products that I use in this video are just products that I like to use that work for me. You may have your own bronzer that you like, your highlighter that you like, and your contour that you like. Totally fine. We are also going to ignore the fact that my hair looking like this. Just focus on the forehead to here, okay? This is the box and we're staying in the box. Okay, so obviously I already have my foundation on and my concealer on. I have not put any powder on, so we are going to basically start from here. And this is kind of the point where I would go ahead and contour, bake under my eyes, and bronze my face. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, my recent contour obsession is actually an e.l.f. product. And I bought this off elfcosmetics.com. This is their contour palette right here. Obviously this is the shade that your girl loves. It is like a really ashy brown. It's not very dark. These two shades right here would be way too dark for me, so this one is perfect for my skin tone. It looks so pretty on your skin. The two brushes that I'm going to be using today to contour my face is this e.l.f. contouring brush right here, and this is a brush that I got on Amazon. It doesn't have a name. If you would like to know, I actually got the full set of these brushes. There's like two little slanted ones. There's a powder brush. There's a foundation brush. If you want to know, these were like $8.99 and it was like a set of 5. So if you guys want to know what these brushes are, I use them religiously, then just drop a comment down below or drop a comment on my Instagram and I will send you the link to purchase these. Okay, so so a lot of people wonder, what does contour do to your face? And that's a good question. So basically contouring is to give the illusion that things are slimmer when they're not slimmer. You contour your cheekbones to make your face look more narrow and to make it look more sculpted. You contour your forehead to make your forehead look smaller. You contour your nose to make it look smaller and more pointed, more sculpted. Basically, you make your face look better. I am going to basically do something a little different. Instead of doing my entire contour today, I am actually going to do one side of my face. I'm going to contour the left side of my face first. That way you get a visual of what the difference is, contour versus no contour. After I contour and we go through all that, then I will talk about highlighting, baking, and bronzing. You got me, homie? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my e.l.f. palette right here and I'm going to take this brush right here. Obviously this brush, I'm not going to blend with this brush. That's why I have this one. So this one is basically just going to carve out where the contour is going to be. So I'm going to basically stipple this out right here. And if you are unsure of whether a shade looks good on you, there are warmer toned contours, there are cooler toned contours. If you are not sure what color works best for your skin and you're just trying some out, don't try it out when you have somewhere to be. Second of all, make sure that you go in with a light hand. You don't know, if you've never tried a product before, you don't know if it's super pigmented. You don't know if you are going to look muddy. Sometimes when you use cooler toned contours, it can make your face look muddy and dirty. We don't want to look dirty. We want to look snatched. So I have some product on my brush right here, and now it is time to find your hollow part of your cheek. If you are not aware that you have a hollow part of your cheek, I want you to do this. This right here, when you make the fishy face, because that's how I found out about the hollow part of my cheek. If you make the fishy face, you will find the hollow part of your cheek. That is where you want to draw your contour line. So basically you are going to look to the side. I kind of have defined, well, okay, I have some cheeks though. But if I turn to the side, you can see the line on my cheeks where you're supposed to contour. It is hollow, and so we are going to go from there. I am going to put my brush right here where that little indent is, and I'm going to start drawing a line. And I know that looks absolutely ridiculous, but that's what you do, okay? Now, obviously, it's not going to stay like this, but again, that's what you do. After I draw this line, I go in with my little angled brush from Amazon and I start to buff it in. I just take small circular motions. Do not go below the line. I kind of blend up into my cheek, if that makes sense. Okay, so my cheek contour is done on the left side of my face. Looking straight on, it is obvious that this side of my face looks slimmer than this side of my face. And that's all because contour. It gives a fake illusion that you're thinner than you are. Obviously, after you contour, you will know whether you want to add more contour or maybe use your foundation brush and maybe you went in a little bit too harsh. Some people like darker contour. Some people like a very subtle sculpt to their cheeks. Everybody's different. This is how I contour my face. Everything that I'm telling you is how I do it. You have to figure out what works for you. You have to figure out what looks best for you. And I've said it 500 times and I'm going to say it this entire time I'm doing this channel. You do you. Boo boo. Okay, so my cheek is contoured and we are going to go ahead and move along to nose contour. I'm not going to contour one side of my nose because I want you guys to see what the contour does to your nose. Okay, so this is the brush I'm going to be using to contour my nose. It is from e.l.f. and it just says contour brush because e.l.f. is to the point. So I'm going to go in with that same shade from this e.l.f. cream contour palette. I'm going to pick up a little bit of product. I go in so light because I'm not one that likes a really, really harsh sculpted nose. That's just my personal opinion. I don't want to make a contour super, super harsh on my nose. You may like that. Again, do that. Do what you like. But for today and for this video, I will not be doing a super harsh nose contour, but I will definitely be doing a contour strong enough so that you can see the difference between my nose now and what my nose will look like after we contour. So I'm going to give you a minute to stare at my nose. Are you done? Okay, so we're going to go in. Basically, the way that I contour my nose is I usually start right where my inner corner is. I usually put my brush right there and I will just start to buff down. You're going to have a line on the side of your nose just like this. It is going to look kind of weird, but as you start to blend it in, and I actually blend mine down a little bit, I kind of drag the contour down just a tad, then you will start to see your nose is going to appear thinner. Okay, so one side of my nose is contoured and the other one is not yet. You can see the darker color on my nose. It just gives that shadowed illusion that my nose is smaller and thinner. And if you have a bigger nose, then you really like this step because it will make your nose look smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and contour the other side of my nose and I will be right back. Okay guys, so my nose is contoured. I honestly, whenever I contour my nose, I do it because I do like the way that it looks. Do I have a big nose? I don't think so. But I do it because I do think it makes my nose appear a little bit thinner and a little bit more sculpted, and I like that. So that is why I contour my nose. We're going to go ahead and move right along to bronzer. I am using today the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and this is in the shade Light. The only two shades that I've ever seen are Light and Dark. They may have some more shades, but I didn't see them whenever I bought this. I use my EcoTools blending and bronzing brush for this. It is my favorite brush for bronzing. So I'm only going to bronze this half of my face. So I'm going to go in with my EcoTools brush. Whenever I bronze my face, I start at my cheekbone where I contoured at, and I just start doing big circular motions. Whenever you're bronzing, you want a bigger, fluffier brush like this. So you do not want to use a smaller brush like this with stiff bristles, because you will have a very defined bronze, and you don't want a very defined bronze. You want it to look natural. You want it to look super natural, and you want it just to look sun-kissed. So you're going to keep on bronzing, and unlike with the contour, whenever you're bronzing, you bring it up past your eye and onto your forehead. Now again, I'm only doing 1/2 of my face so that you guys can see the difference in between contoured and uncontoured or non-contoured. And I always bring it down to my jawline, because if you contour your jawline, your double chin goes away. I'm totally kidding. Your double chin will not go away. It's there. There's no hiding it. Okay guys, so this half of my face is done. I bronzed my forehead. As you can tell, I just look sun-kissed on this side. This side is very flat. I have no color whatsoever. And this side, you know, you can see dimension, you can see color. My forehead looks like it's drawn in a little bit. My nose is very contoured and looks very thin. We talked about the chin. So now I am going to do the other side of my face, and I will be right back. Okay guys, the rest of my face is done. I am completely bronzed and contoured, and that part of the day is done. I did not bake under my eyes today, but I do want to explain to you guys what the reason is for baking, what it does for your skin, and why it's called baking in the first place. The very first time that I heard the term baking, I thought, first of all, what the hell is that? Second of all, what does it do to my skin? If you're gonna bake your skin, you want to use a colorless powder. I've heard of some people using banana powders, but whatever you use, I prefer to use a colorless powder or a brightening powder. You need a lot of it. Whenever you bake your under eyes, I like to use the Ben Nye Neutral Setting Powder, and I also like to use the Coty Airspun powder to bake under my eyes. That is phenomenal for setting your under eyes. Just in case you're wondering, you can get it at Walmart. It's like $6, and they have the extra translucent shade. Not really a shade, it's just a colorless powder, and it is so good. Also, Ulta has the RCMA No Color Powder. It is $38. I do not have that on hand, but it is also a very, very, very good powder. It does not make your under eyes crease. It sets your under eyes. They do not move. They don't move. So whenever you're baking under your eyes, the reason why they call it baking is because whenever you do bake under your eyes, I use a beauty blender to bake under my eyes. I use a damp beauty blender. I dip straight into the product, and I will actually show you guys how much powder you're supposed to use whenever you bake under your eyes. Oh, I can't get it open. Whenever you're baking under your eyes, you take your beauty blender or your brush, whatever you prefer to use. You are going to dip it into the colorless powder, and you are going to completely coat your beauty blender or your brush in the colorless powder. You are literally, I will do it just for the sake of doing it. Basically, you are going to go in with your beauty blender and press it under your eye, just like that. Whenever you see what it does to your under eye, you are going to be hooked, and you are going to want to bake every single day. Okay, so now that I look ridiculous, I'm going to explain what baking does and why they call it baking. So basically, whenever you put a thick layer of colorless powder under your eyes, your skin pretty much suffocates. I know that's a pretty harsh way to say it, but it's the truth. Whenever your skin starts to suffocate, it starts to try to breathe, and it literally gets heated, and it heats your body temperature in that area, and it literally takes the powder and melts it into your skin, basically setting your face so much that it's a bulletproof vest. Nothing is going to make your under eye crease, budge, move, nothing after you bake your under eyes. You have to be very, very careful what you bake your under eyes with, because I have found powders before that make my under eyes very cakey. Be very, very careful what you bake your under eye with. There are some amazing powders out there to bake your under eyes. You just have to find out what works for you. I have found that the Ben Nye, the Coty Airspun, and the RCMA are just my top 3 favorite powders for setting your under eyes, baking your under eyes, and setting your face as a whole. So I like to leave my bake on for at least, 10-15 minutes. Sometimes I'll leave my bake on while I'm doing my eyeshadow and then wipe it off. So I am going to go ahead and wipe it off now that it has been on for a good amount of time. And I'm using the Color Workshop powder brush, and I am literally going to take small circular motions and just go ahead and start dusting off. If you find a really, really good powder that works for you under your eyes, you will also notice that after you bake, your under eye just seems more alive. It seems brighter, and that is what you want. You want under your eyes to seem brighter. You don't want them to be dark or purple or anything like that. So finding a good powder to set your under your eyes with is very, very, very important. But as you can see, I don't know if you can tell such a huge difference. I can see in person my under eyes after baking just look brighter. They look more fresh. I look more awake, even though my kid was up all night last night. The last thing that I wanted to go over with you guys is highlighting. Why do we highlight? What's the point? Why do we do it? How do I do it? So I wanted to go ahead and let you guys in on that bit of information. To highlight today, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit, and that is it, Racheal. The reason that you want to highlight your skin is to make yourself glow. You want to accentuate the high points of your face. Just makes your skin look very dewy, very healthy, very glowy. If you're somebody that's very, very oily, I have noticed that some of my friends that are kind of oily, who have naturally shiny skin, don't really prefer to highlight. That's totally fine. I have normal to dry skin. I am not oily at all. I like to highlight, but I am not one that likes a blinding highlight. I don't want you to see me coming from a mile away. I like a very subtle highlight. Every now and then for a video I will add, a little bit extra here and there, but for everyday looks, I just like it to be really toned down and really subtle. But again, whatever you prefer is totally fine. There's no rules to this, guys. You do what you want to do. You can use a fan brush, and this is from the Color Workshop. You can use a fan brush to highlight. You can use a beauty blender to highlight. You can also use a brush like this. This is the e.l.f. highlighting brush. I am going to use the fan brush and the e.l.f. highlighting brush to show you guys the difference and what they do. I'm going to use the fan brush on my left side and the highlighting brush on my right side, and we are going to get to highlighting. One thing that you can do whenever you highlight is spray some Fix Plus or some Pro Fix Illuminating Spray on your brush if you want a more intense glow. I am going to do the fan brush, and I am going to no spray, no nothing, just highlighter and brush on this side. Whenever I use the highlighting brush, I'm going to spray some illuminating spray, and I'm going to dip in, and we're going to go in on this cheek, and you will see the difference between the two highlights. This one is going to be way more intense than this one. So let's go ahead and get started. In the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, I really, really prefer this middle shade right here called White Sand. It is a kind of medium tone champagne color. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think these shades might be a little bit too different for me. So we are going to go into White Sand right here, and we are just going to wiggle our little fan brush back and forth just like that. Tap it, and we're going to go in on our cheek right here. Just gonna go back and forth. Isn't that what they do in all those like beauty videos? Like at the very beginning, they're like, so funny. Okay, so that is the highlight with the fan brush. It's very, very subtle. It's very, very pretty. It's just a natural glow. And again, that is with this brush right here. It's just a pretty subtle highlight, and I like that. I like to use the fan brush to do my highlights, again, because I like a very, very natural, subtle glow. I like a subtle glow. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the highlighting brush, and I am going to spray a little bit of the Makeup Revolution Pro Fix Illuminating Spray on the brush, you guys. And I am going to go into white sand again. Oh, Jesus. And we are going to highlight this cheekbone. Okay. Okay, so you can see that highlight right there. I think that people in California can see that highlight right there. The other thing that I like to highlight is my nose. And I do not normally use a brush to highlight my nose. I just kind of take my finger right here. I will dip right in and I will just tap and go up my nose just like that. Just gives a nice little glow to my nose and I like it. Another thing that a lot of people like to highlight is right above their eyebrow, sometimes their chin and their cupid's bow, which is right here above your upper lip. I do not really highlight up above my eyebrow. I just don't, just my preference, but I do know a lot of people that do. Obviously, whenever you highlight your cupid's bow right here, it just makes your lips look bigger and more full, and so that's always nice if you have a smaller upper lip. If you highlight your cupid's bow, then it just makes your lips look fuller. Okay guys, so this is the contour, bronze, bake, highlight situation. I am going to do the rest of my makeup off camera and then I will be right back to close this out. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I know in my live video that I did on Facebook the other day, I was trying to figure out how to use the very, very teal shade right here in the Jaclyn Hill palette. And I think I figured it out. I used both of these shades right here. I use this in my crease and this all over my lid. And I am obsessed. This is stepping way, way out of my comfort zone. I don't think I have ever done this bold of an eye before, but I really, really like it. I hope this video helped you out in some way. Maybe you learned something that you had no idea about. Maybe you knew a little bit, but you wanted to know a little bit more. I hope that in some way I could help you out. Thank you guys so much for watching. The way that this channel has grown just in the past 2 months, let alone 2 weeks, has been absolutely amazing. I started this channel with 0 subscribers on December 1st of 2017, and here we are February 1st of 2018, only 2 months in, and I already have 131 subscribers, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. So if you are new here, make sure that you subscribe and hit the little bell to the right of the subscribe button so that you get notified every time I upload a video. And I usually upload at least 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how talkative I feel. So leave a comment down below if you have any questions, if you have any requests of videos that you want to see. I respond to every single comment that I get. I make it a priority to make sure to conversate and to interact with you guys as much as possible. So leave a comment down below. Just tell me, hey, if you're new, where you're from. So yeah, guys, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.